Robyn.
And I'm Julie.
We're two mamas who love inspiring healthy living.
After facing family health challenges and seeing how natural solutions transformed our lives, we are determined to help other mamas thrive, not just survive.
What if feeling awesome is possible for you and your family?
Come along with us on our natural journey.
Okay. Hi, I'm Robyn.
And I'm Julie.
Welcome to our podcast,
Helping Mamas Thrive.
Yay! If you're watching on YouTube, I may not be looking at the right spot. And maybe I should watch one of the episodes.
Maybe.
But then I don't know where I am.
I know, it's going to be like, wait, because everything's reversed, or I don't know.
Oh, that really freaks me out.
But this is going to be shaky if we touch the thing. So maybe we should lean back. Oh. So a year and a half, I don't know how long we've been doing this podcast, but we're still asking the question of where do we look? Mostly on our phone, not really on the computer, because that's kind of obvious. But sometimes on the phone is.
I know, because it looks like I'm looking to the right, but I'm not.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
It's like we have the shifty eyes.
Oh, right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
All right. So what's our topic today?
It's building a baby. I'm so excited. So this is a precursor to our class on Tuesday. So depending on when you're listening to this, it might have already happened, but Tuesday, September 26th.
No. Tuesday is September 24th.
September 24th, we have a class at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on building a baby, which is also a precursor to a program that we are rolling out for mamas to be and daddies to be, called Building a Baby.
Because nobody really thinks about it this. Like, in my mind, people are like, okay, I can't drink.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I won't drink some like fake sugar, but I'm going to eat whatever I want because I'm pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to feel sick.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? We have learned that when you balance the body out, you can have a pregnancy without the metallic taste, without the nausea, morning sickness. Thank you. I've learned a whole bunch of body code about how, I guess I'm just jumping into this. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay. How morning sickness a lot of times is caused by a disconnection between the fetus and the brain. And so if you energetically reconnect it, then the morning sickness goes away. And there's all these stories of mom and baby. And then like literally after the body code session, they go eat and they're not nauseous.
I love that.
So I wish I knew that because I had metallic taste both pregnancies, and I was nauseous for several months.
Yeah, we don't have to stand for these, but I think people just accept that as, well, that's just part of the deal. But we don't have to accept that. There's a lot of things that are prioritized when people are thinking about having a baby. They're like, who's going to be my OB/GYN? Who's going to have like a shower? Who's going to do all this stuff? And I want to find out, or I don't want to find out the sex.
What religion?
Oh yeah. All the decisions that have to be made, but yet rarely is the discussion focused on how am I going to make sure I have a healthy fetus and a healthy baby? How do I make sure that my body is healthy enough to create that?
Well, I think people do feel like, how can I have a healthy baby? But I don't think that there's a lot of understanding of both, like
how much is in your control?
How much is in your control, and the things you can do. It's just like periods and all the other things. Even though it's common, it doesn't mean it's normal.
Yeah.
Right. So all these symptoms, we feel like hell when we're pregnant most of the time. Although I was worried about working when I was pregnant, like, cause it's more like gender neutral in marketing. I never really felt, girl or boy, but I was like, when I'm pregnant, I'm definitely a girl. And I was a little worried about that, but I loved it.
That's so great.
Really great.
Yeah.
People were nicer to me. I had a fan because I was working at Universal at my desk. I had a fan and a heater. And if I was short with them, they just blamed it on my pregnancy. great. It was fantastic. Yes, it was very, very good. Any hoozy.
So there is a lot of inner control, and we're not talking about those things that are the genetic factors that are, coming into play. We're talking about things that we actually do have control over. And that if we understood, then we would make different choices. Like some people, I didn't know, like I had no idea. And maybe people tried to tell me, but I didn't know.
I had no idea either. And I just like to say, our hormonal health obviously impacts your readiness. So I used to have PCOS, used to, and so that means I didn't get regular periods. So when I was trying to have my Jonathan, I didn't know when I was ovulating. Like I had no idea. Nobody told me anything. I didn't keep track. Anyway, so I actually took Clomid for 1 month, the lowest dose. And that's the month I got pregnant. But nobody told me that I could fix my hormones and, tell like that it would have been easier.
Yeah.
So one doctor, my gynecologist, OB, who I loved, she did say, like, if you have a hard time getting pregnant, you might have to look at what you eat. But I didn't know what that meant. And as soon as I got pregnant, I was like, I guess I don't have to look at that.
Yeah.
I had no earthly idea.
Right.
So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I have PCOS, like listen to, you could go watch our hormone webinar. But basically I healed my PCOS with diet and some supplements.
Yeah. Huge.
And I'm
Absolutely
53
huge.
and I have a regular period. And Julie makes fun of me.
Which is just so hilarious. It's like, oh man, because usually at this point you're like, all right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really hilarious. So
all those years, my body's like, well,
I
didn't get to have a period all those years, and now I'm having one. And I don't care if you're 53.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So basically, we're going to talk through some of the things we can have an impact on. But I'm not sure that people understand. Maybe they do, the dire state that we are in currently with fertility, because it's kind of scary. I do. So 1/3 of patients that are wanting to get pregnant are struggling with infertility, and 80% of patients have endocrine disruptors. Disruption. I think that is like, probably low. I mean,
please explain what that means.
So basically, endocrine disruptions can happen many different ways, but I would say probably the most impactful one right now is the toxins. We are like living in a toxic soup. We are putting things on our body and in our body that are causing our endocrine system to like shut down. And it's super, super sad, because we probably would make different choices if we knew that the perfume or whatever we're putting on our body, the food choices that we're making, if we knew the impact, we would probably say, no, I'm going to make a better choice.
Well,
maybe
people do hear things and they ignore them.
Really?
Yes. I mean, some people that know us, they know how we feel about chemicals.
Right.
And they're still wearing perfume and using Clorox and things like that. They're not doing it a natural way. So I feel like people, until it's eminent with their situation,
right,
a lot of times they're poo-pooing it. I mean, we see that even in our practice.
Yeah. Right.
So we see people who were their last hope.
Yes.
They've been to multiple medical professionals, or like their blood work says they're normal, but they don't feel normal. Or they've tried these 15 things and nothing's working. Yeah. Because they haven't found the secret sauce, which is what I love about what we do.
Yes.
I mean, I even figured out something later today for somebody, and I'm going to tell you about it later. It's so exciting. Yeah. Anyway, we can ask the body questions and the body will reveal the answers. But for the endocrine disruptions, that's important. And then I saw on TV, believe it or not, it wasn't a drug commercial.
What?
I know, but it was a body spray for down there. Like a whole body, like, hey, I've noticed that my body has odor, not just under my arms.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, when did it, okay, like, I'm sorry. Can I say vagina on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure if it would get censored.
Hmm.
Any,
I
I
don't
mean,
think so.
vaginas sometimes smell.
Yeah.
It's like a normal thing.
Yeah.
Like if it's really, really bad, you need to get your hormones checked out.
Yeah.
But just like who created antiperspirant? Like
Right.
our
Right.
bodies were created
We
to
have
do
to
things.
perspire.
Okay. Perspiring is a way of detoxing.
Yes.
So anti-perspiring is making your body not detox, which is
Yeah.
how God created our body.
Right.
So the smell, like something smell, like there is a chemical reaction in your body that's meant to happen. And if you have yeast or something else, then then that will make it more smelly or
Right.
whatever, and you need to
Yeah.
get it looked at. But I'm just saying,
Right.
these are things that we were
Right.
created.
Right.
I don't know. Like we need to think about that. I think a
Mhm.
lot of people are catching on to not using aluminum in their deodorant.
Right. Yeah.
But there's
That's
other
happening. Yeah.
there's other things like phthalates and sulfites and
Yeah.
sulfates and parabens.
Yeah. Yes.
Beauty product.
Yes. It's terrible. So all those things, when they go into our body, it's just like the bucket being filled up, and then eventually things start shutting down because our bodies are absolutely amazing and they want us to survive. So in order to survive, they're going to stick those toxins in any places possible, or they're going to take some supporting hormone from somewhere and then they're going to use it elsewhere. And so it becomes a like a whack-a-mole, kind of like, oh my gosh, well, I have this going on, I'm going to use this, and then something else pops up. And so it's really important to understand that environmental things and the choices you're making are definitely important at this stage.
I know. And a lot of times when you are in the pregnancy era, you're like, okay, well, I have to make so many sacrifices.
Right.
I can't drink
Right.
Diet Coke. I can't eat deli meat, whatever
Right.
your, things are. Well, I would like to encourage everybody to have a paradigm shift.
Yeah.
And like, how am I getting to build this baby? That's where this name came from. Like building a baby is a serious job. And by the way, it's not just the mother's job.
Yes.
The father has 50%. So he needs to also work on his body. Not drinking those monster drinks, all these things with the chemical overloads.
Yeah.
And really think about, how can I get my body in the best shape to build this baby?
That's right.
What are the things I can do?
Because his part is he still has to release certain hormones in order to make the proper, secondary hormones to produce the sperm and everything, just like the women have to have the certain hormones, the progesterone and the estrogen, to go ahead and make the environment to release the follicle, to create the ovulation. So both of them need to have those hormones in balance in order to make that happen. So,
I mean, our bodies are so amazing too. I remember when I was pregnant, I went to McDonald's, and I knew that like
that is so hilarious because I don't think I've ever heard her say McDonald's and I went in the same sentence like before.
Right. I know. I actually used to eat McDonald's. This is crazy.
So did I. Yeah. Before we
I
knew
have
better.
such stories. Yes. Well, so when I was pregnant, I went and got a Big Mac with no cheese, but it was still like the sauce and stuff. And I was going to an event. Anyway, my body was like, hell no. And it threw it up while I was on the 408. I like caught it in my cup.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, my body was purging that. It was like, no, you may not eat this shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, I knew that the thing is, back then I knew that McDonald's wasn't the best food, but I thought it was because of the fat content. I did not understand the huge chemical impact.
Yeah.
The trans fats back then.
Yeah.
I didn't understand any of that. I just thought, oh, well, this is not healthy versus eating a tomato.
Yes.
I thought it was just fat content, not
exactly
anything else.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of people think about the chemical ramifications of
I know. And I please implore
the
you
food.
please do not think that grilled chicken at a fast food restaurant is better than the fry.
Yeah.
Because I looked up Wendy's this week for Jonathan. It had sugar. The grilled chicken has sugar. It had other chemicals. Like, why is there sugar on grilled chicken?
Don't know.
Anywho, see, our bodies are so smart.
Feeding the addiction.
That's what I'm saying. Our bodies are smart.
They are. So this is very encouraging though. This is according to Dr. LaGrange, who, when we did our quantum 3 or 2, was one of the speakers that came in, and he deals a lot with the hormones, and he's amazing, absolutely amazing. Fertility expert. So he was talking about that if you balance 20 of the chemicals, the clients could improve 8 out of 10. And then if you balance maybe 5 of the rest, 5 out of 20, then everything will fall in line. So there's so much that we could do to influence the production of building a baby.
Right.
Which is so exciting.
So
that's the good news.
This is pertinent, not just to people who are trying for the first time. This is pertinent to people who have tried all these methods. I mean, like I took Clomid once, but lots of people end up going to the fertility specialist. I love that stat. You should get that for the class. How much fertility, there's fertility clinics
everywhere, which is so scary. That's indicative of what's going on in our country here. And it is very scary. But I don't think a lot of people realize that the sensitivity of all these different hormones, especially like if contraceptives, like a lot of those hormones are measured in micrograms, when actually the hormones, like I think it's like picograms, or it's so tiny. And we throw like tons of estrogen or progesterone at the body and expect the body to respond like in a normal fashion. And we cannot have that happen. Like, we have to understand the sensitivity of this soft wiring that is around our body. It's imperative.
Right. So basically what this translates into is, if you need to go to a fertility specialist, you need to ask yourself, why is my body not producing enough estrogen? Let's say, what's happening? Instead of just giving yourself more estrogen. So that's that's where we come in.
Right.
We ask your body, why is it producing not enough estrogen? It could be lots of reasons.
Right.
And then we balance the body, and then you have enough estrogen.
Right. Because there's many different, there's, the actual mechanical, like the making of the hormone. There's a reception of a hormone. There's a feedback loop. So that's even happening in our body. And so if any point in that chain, things are broken down, if follicle stimulating hormone is not working, then you're not going to do the secondary, release of that hormone. And then, so things can be traced back, and we can actually muscle test for those things, which is so cool. It's mind blowing that we can ask the body those questions and get answers.
Really amazing.
So cool.
So basically, do you have more stats?
I have many stats. Do you want to talk about something while I look up some of these stats? Oh, this is kind of a cool thing just for us to understand. This is from Dr. Fun. There are 100 trillion atoms in a human cell, and there are 100 trillion cells in the human body. So there's a lot going on in our grand design. And if we're just thinking that this is a very simple, here's the simple things I need to do every day, we're missing the point. Like, we have to foster the grand design. We have to give attention to it and honor our bodies. And anyway, so I wanted to throw that out there, because I don't think many people think about how many 100 trillion atoms are in a human cell. Like, that's crazy.
I don't think people know what that means.
That's crazy. I would love to talk about atoms all day. It's so cool.
The science of it all.
Yes.
I think that the point is go ahead.
This is about the placenta. So this is an older stat. It's probably worse now. But of the 85 chemicals studied in the umbilical cord, which include like pesticides and phthalates we talked about, 59% were found to affect the cancer hallmark processes, even the low dosages, similar to those people encounter in daily life. So we have tons and tons of chemicals that are found. And I think it was, if I can find the one about the umbilical cords that were studied, I'll find that stat. Oh, 287 chemicals were detected in the umbilical cord. That is so sad. To develop the baby. 287? Oh, that's terrible. And
so I do want to make a point there, because a lot of people will say, well, I have digestive issues because my mom had it and my grandma had it. So, cells you are predisposed. I mean, genetics do play a part in our lives.
Yes.
But lifestyle is what really impacts what's happening in your body. So if you make different choices, you can change how your family got that. So if those babies are getting those chemicals through the umbilical cord, which is awful. This is how they're starting. And then you already have to detox them.
Right. Which is so sad, because there are people out there that have had babies and they are developing so many of these Western diseases so early on. It's like, what happened? It's like, oh, it started happening. Yes. It started happening in the very beginning, from the time of conception. So we just have to be mindful, because those toxins, it's affecting the brain. There are so many things that is affecting in the development of the baby, which is crazy.
And actually emotions too.
Emotions. Yes. I mean, energetically, we go out of balance first energetically and then manifest physically. So if you think about the state of mind that the mama is in, or, what's happening, and that's another thing we can help with emotion code, is to help release those trapped emotions so they do not manifest into things physically that are detrimental. So keep that in mind. There's so much we can affect. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
Crazy. Let's see. We can talk about, so why do we think that this fertility thing is happening? I mean, we talked about toxins, which is probably a major thing, for the men and for the women, both. It has to do foundationally with a lot of the food that we're eating. So in our practice, we love to work with
lack
people,
of food,
or lack of food.
There's that meme about 90% of the food that exists today didn't exist when our grandparents were living, and same with the diseases.
Yeah, exactly. So we're kind of in this cesspool of like toxic junk.
But I do hear people, sorry to cut you off, like people are like, well, my grandma ate McDonald's or whatever. Well, back then, A, it probably didn't have as many chemicals. And B, not everything else had chemicals. Like people are seriously inundated. Like all those things started being created, like corn syrup and all these awful flavorings and additives and preservatives. So yeah, maybe they did have a hamburger, but they had a lot more going for them. Plus they walked everywhere.
Yes. Yeah.
We're so sedentary.
That is so true. Movement. Sleep is so important too, in detoxifying our bodies. So if we're not getting enough outside time, enough exercise, we're not breathing properly. I mean, a lot of mamas to be are stressed out.
Yes.
So we're constantly in this fight or flight. We're taxing out our adrenals, which are super important. And we are not breathing properly. As women, we need to learn how to breathe.
So I was reading, Julie and I have started using the AO scanner. There's a lot of detox playlists you can do for frequencies. Ton of them. Chemical, all kinds of things. Metals, viral, bacterial detoxes. So with the complicated cases, we can really help on a lot of different levels. And you know, it doesn't hurt to do those.
Yeah,
You just press a button. It's all
absolutely.
energetic.
It is, it's kind of the easy button, I would say. But it is energetically, it's something that should be part of everybody's toolbox, I feel like.
Mhm.
And that's what we've been really helping our clients help their bodies heal faster, is getting those frequencies back into balance. And I love that it happens in real time. And it's like so cool. But there are other things like dental health. That's another thing that we can help with in here. A lot of people don't realize how much that can dictate the fertility. If your dental, if your mouth and bacteria and things that are happening here, it can be widespread.
Well, I mean, I thought about this a lot. You know, it's not just that, it's the health of the baby. So again, all this childhood diseases, like I think back, like, how did Jonathan get all these heavy metals? You know, I mean, I did get the flu cupcake while I was pregnant because they told me to. And so I did it.
Right.
And what's funny is I had never had it before. That was the first time.
Really?
And then,
Oh my word.
but I had 9 metal fillings. I had 9 mercury fillings.
Yep.
So nobody says that to you.
No.
Nobody talks about that. How the heavy metals can, like, you pass those on to your baby. You eat hot food, that seal is getting shaken up. And there, you know, he definitely got heavy metals from me. There is no question in my mind.
Yeah.
A little known fact, I don't know if people realize, but every tooth has a correlating organ.
Oh yeah.
So like you're having tooth pain, you want to look up the chart and see if that correlating organ needs support.
Right.
It's not just the heavy metal part. It's like any kind of health in the body. The mouth, so important.
Very true.
And you do hear that. You hear that sometimes with cardiovascular health, and people will say, "Oh, you know."
Very true.
But it's not just cardiovascular health. It's like everything.
It's everything, which is kind of cool.
Now, so if you hear this and you're like, "Oh crap, I have a lot of mercury fillings," you need to go to a smart certified dentist. And they look like the Ghostbusters with like the white thing, and like they have a shield and blah blah blah, and they put a dental dam on you, and it's a very complex thing that happens, but safe. They make sure the mercury is disposed of correctly. I was on a program for chelation because you don't want to ingest those heavy metals, so you want binders, and I personally tested for cilantro. But there's a lot of ways to do it. So you can find somebody like us to help put you on a program, and you want to find a smart certified dentist to actually do it.
That's right.
And you don't want to do your whole mouth at the same time because you know your body has to process it.
Yeah. And I think it's been a really good change. I mean, I didn't do it before. And I should have, woulda, shoulda, coulda. But even now it has greatly impacted my health and just making those changes. And I'm still work in progress. Like I still have more to do, but you know, I have 2 down, and that was huge. So you've had all yours out.
I have a little thing that says mercury free. I have a little button, HG with a little red thing. You know, but I love it. I did have 1 root canal, so samesies.
Oh, right.
Bad.
Like all the stuff that people don't think about it.
I have no
really
idea.
Don't. So, let's see, what else, what can we talk about? We can talk about, some of you mentioned PCOS. That's something that you worked on. There are other major things, that people are dealing with. Fibroids. It's kind of a, you know, people just not really accept these things, but it's like, oh, well, I have that. And then they go to the traditional model. And that's something that we can really help with here, either through frequency work or we can diet. I mean, can you tell the story about how you it first dawned on you about the foot detox and how that happened?
Yeah. So I went for a foot detox, which I don't know why sounded good to me. And I got I hadn't had my period for 4 or 5 months. And I got my period the next day. And I was like, oh, that's interesting, but just, went on my day. And then like 4 or 5 months went by again, and I got another foot detox, and I got my period that day, like right after. And I was like, there's no way this is a coincidence twice.
Right.
So then I researched that, I should go. Basically, PCOS is affected. A lot of people who PCOS are insulin resistant, which nobody talks about, right? Still to this day, people think that, I was the total 90s child, like, that ate like low carb, low fat, high carb, less meat, some veggies.
Yeah.
Anywho, so I went gluten-free, and I started getting my period. This was like in my late 40s. I started getting my period every month. And then after like 10 months-ish, I had to add some supplements in there for some hormonal balance. And I still am working on my hormones. There's still a lot to work on, but I am regular. I used to have headaches 3 weeks out of the month.
I know.
It's
so crazy.
It was really a lot.
And because of your diet choices and what you put in and on your body, that has really made a huge difference. Like, you're not suffering from PCOS and, other things that are quite normal that can influence your ability to get pregnant.
Absolutely.
So I think that's incredibly cool.
Thank you.
So let's see, how much time do we have
to wrap it up?
Oh boy. All right. We have to wrap it up. There's so many things to talk about. I have pages and pages of notes. But yeah, so basically the class is going to be amazing. If you can't come in person, if you don't listen to this in time, you can go on our Facebook page and you can catch the replay. If you don't have time for that and you just want to book an appointment, we would love to do a muscle test. It's $129 at this moment, to have and it's a 2-part appointment. Basically, the first one, we do a full muscle test and assess what organs and glands are out of balance. And then we figure out the cause, and then we give a full report on what solutions you can do naturally in order to support your body.
And when people sign up with us, it's not like we just push you in the pond. We're with you. We're trying to figure things out. New things happen all the time. We're with you, running with you, and helping guide you. And I think that our clients really appreciate that.
Yes.
Because they need that roadmap.
Yes.
They need that guidance.
They do, because it's a different way to approach life. And it is a full education on how to maximize a healthy lifestyle in order to do all things beyond building a baby, because once that baby is born, then you need to be in good health and everything, and energy and everything to take care of the baby. So mamas, this is like a full on, let's get everyone healthy and the dad in order to build a baby and beyond.
Right. And so if you know somebody that is struggling with fertility or in the child rearing ages that would benefit from this podcast, please share it.
Yes.
And we will have that class on Tuesday, the 24th. And eventually we'll have things on our website. I can't commit to you a date. It's like a work in progress.
Yes. It's in the final stage. I'm so excited. I just can't wait. Can't wait. Okay.
All right. So that's it.
All right. Yep. That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. And if you want to support our show, give us a 5-star rating.
To learn more about our practice, visit athelivingtree.com.